So lately, I've been thinking about how most things validate me, and how it can be so easily. I mean, so most things validate me, meaning I live in one of the richest countries in the world. I live in Southern California. Uh, I pretty much just vibe all day. The sun is beautiful. I'll eventually be in the professional managerial class. I'll be relatively wealthy, and yeah, I mean, it's so easy to and not only that, but just like those are big things, but day to day, it's like I know where my food's gonna be. I know like where my water is. I know that I can get access to pretty much anything that I really want. Um, you know, food, money, relationships, friends, going out to eat, nice restaurants, and it can be so it can be so easy to think about, the moment where you're like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to afford to go to this Italian restaurant that's like $80 a plate, you know? And you're like, wait, what am I talking about? I can get a $20 Italian food dinner that's really just as good in a, you know, in a in a great situation. I can get 25, 30, $40 worth of Italian food and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm chilling," you know? Or, just other things like that where I you know, all day it's like usually always sunny. It's never really rainy where I am. There's plenty of air to breathe. There's plenty of cool people to talk to, pretty people to look at. A lot of people, relatively a good amount of people, notice me, flirt with me, you know. Um, and I can go out, have a party, or go out to a party, go out to dance or whatever, talk to people I know, talk to people I don't really know that well. And yeah, I mean, like 95% of my life is set up to validate me. And it can be so easy to start thinking about the 5% that doesn't validate me, and the goals that I have and the desires that I have. But it's like, no, I'm gonna be fine. And I feel like that may that might not be the case for most people, but 80% of people's life is pretty chill, pretty easy. You know what I mean? Like most moments are pretty manageable, you know? And yeah, obviously there's some terrible dread that you can have of some future thing that you get, that comes as a surprise, or something that you just never get or whatever, and you can freak out about it. Or you can just be like, most things validate me. I mean, for me, I can be like, most things validate me. You know, I have these pumpkin seeds right here, and from Whole Foods. Yeah, it's probably the cheaper version of pumpkin seeds, and probably, if I wanted to get walnuts, I probably would have gotten walnuts or whatever, but it's still delicious. I mean, it's still good. like, why would I freak it? It's like, obviously, I'm not really freaking out about walnuts or whatever, but that's basically it. It's like, you can be like, oh, I'm not gonna get this $200,000 job, or, you know, and you get a $150,000 job working for the government or something like that. If you get a master's degree, if you're in my situation, you're like, oh, I'll be fine. Or it's like, you know, it's like you're making $40,000 and your friends are making $50,000 to $60,000, and it's like, well, obviously that's a big jump in money, but also at the same time, it doesn't mean that much in terms of freedom, really, you know. Uh, and so it's like you shouldn't, and it's it's also not super far away. If you just like continue thinking about the things that validate you, and then you're going to deal with the stuff that doesn't validate you like pretty easily, much easier. You're going to get better at it because you're going to get built, like, you're going to be like, wow, 95% of my life is like showing me how great I am, showing me how great life is. And you can also look at that and be like, oh man, the 5% that's not validating me, how do I fix this? How do I blah, 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 blah. But it's like, and you like, say you're dealing with a customer or something like that, and they're not nice. You just be like, you can focus on that 5% where it's not validating you, where it's like this person's like frustrated at you. Or you can just be like, I'm here in this moment, and 95% of things validate me. Most things validate me in life. So when this person like finally gets what they need and moves on, I'm going to continue to be validated in how great my life is and how great life is. And it's like, yeah, not a lot of people have it as good as me, but a lot of people do. You know what I mean? And, obviously there's people out there that have it better than you, quote unquote. But to them, they're still looking at that 5% that's not validating them in their life, you know what I mean? And being like, this is horrible, Whereas you can be like, this is my life. This is the only life that I've experienced. And most things validate me. So I'm going to, enjoy this. Because the more that I enjoy it, the better I am at dealing with the moments where things aren't validating me. And eventually those things do, they do come into your life in the way that you want them to be, because you get better at things and people start feeling more comfortable with you being like, oh, you know what, actually this person has like a good attitude, like let's make it easier for them, they're actually kind of cool, maybe I want to hang out with them or whatever. Yeah, so most things validate me.